The demand for these middleweight bikes was so intense that riders around the world eagerly parted with their hard-earned money to own one. From Europe to Asia and beyond, these machines became a global favorite, offering the perfect balance of power, agility, and affordability. Then, the golden era came to a sudden end. Japanese bike prices skyrocketed almost overnight, driven by a combination of shifting economic conditions and evolving design trends. A new 600cc model, which once cost around $9,000 in 2007, suddenly surged to over $12,000 or more, putting these bikes out of reach for many riders. Manufacturers eventually pulled the plug on their Supersports lines, halting updates and discontinuing these iconic machines altogether. Yamaha held out the longest, launching the YZF R6 in 2017 to meet the latest emission standards. But even that bike was relegated to track-only status by 2021, thanks to the stricter Euro 5 regulations. The only major player left standing is Kawasaki, with its upgraded ZX6R. For most 600cc supersports, the writing was on the wall for over a decade. Little to no improvements were made as they struggled against Euro 4 regulations in 2017 and Euro 5 in 2021. Now, in the blink of an eye, these once revolutionary bikes have become nearly extinct, now more prized as sought-after classics than as the cutting-edge machines they once were. In today's video, we'll be talking about the top 10 best used 600cc Supersport motorcycles. Number 10. Suzuki GSX R600, 2006 to 2007. Even though it was almost 20 years ago, the last time we saw major brand-new 600cc motorcycles from several manufacturers was in 2006. Additionally, it marked the class's transition from all-rounders to pure track bikes. Therefore, even if those machines were the greatest yet, they still had some responsibility for their own downfall. The deal was sealed 2 years later with the financial catastrophe. The GSX R600 was one of the standout new bikes for 2006. With its new engine, frame, and appearance, it remains, owing to its titchy exhaust and tight packaging, the most handsome of all the GSX-R generations. Radial brakes, a slipper clutch, back when they were still uncommon, and an extremely powerful engine were all part of the huge specification. Yes, the 2007 R6 and CBR 600RR soon outperformed it, but the K6/7 GSX R600 still sounds amazing, has incredible performance, rides flawlessly, and is a fantastic deal. Number 9. Triumph Daytona 675, 2006 to 2018. Triumph had a lot to prove in 2006 when the Daytona 675 was introduced. While not wholly ineffective, its prior Supersports endeavors, the TT 600, Daytona 600, and Daytona 650, appeared to demonstrate the impossibility of any attempt to compete with the Japanese in this segment of the market. Triumph came up with a winning formula that was genuinely unexpected by thinking outside the box and increasing the capacity by an eighth while lowering the cylinder count by a fourth. Suddenly, a Triumph could compete with a mainstream Japanese sports bike without even costing more. It wasn't just a rival either. In many cases, the Daytona 675's increased torque makes it easier to ride than a bellowing four-cylinder 600. Though it has a larger capacity, it feels physically smaller than some fours, especially the narrower ones. Although there are still obvious similarities between the current bike and the original, it has undergone regular improvements since introduction, making it a noticeably better vehicle with additions like ABS, in addition to cosmetic and technological changes. Low-mileage used vehicles can be purchased for less than $5,400, but late-model, higher-spec'd R variants can cost over twice that much. Number 8. Honda CBR 600RR, 2013 to 2018. The CBR from 2009 onward was already excellent. Not the fastest, but certainly quick enough, cozy, and long-lasting. The 2013 update included updated ignition programming, a lighter frame, lighter 12-spoke cast wheels, a striking redesigned nose, ostensibly inspired by the MotoGP RCV at the time, and new show-big piston front forks. Those adjustments are hardly noticeable from the saddle, but they are definitely appreciated. The best, most current example of what are arguably the greatest supersports ever made is what it stands for, though, especially when you consider Honda's illustrious reputation for excellence, dependability, and durability. Even now, Michael Dunlop, who is unmatched in Supersport 600TT races, employs this strategy to win. And should that satisfy him sufficiently? Number 7. Yamaha R6, 2017 to 2021. The 2017 R6, which was ostensibly the final Supersport 600 to undergo a complete overhaul, was somewhat of a letdown even though it had a mini R1, style influenced by MotoGP, and an incredibly smooth chassis with the most advanced electronics the class has ever seen. This R6 disappointed for two reasons. First, it was pricey, and second, it lacked power. Nonetheless, it merits discussion in this instance. Power and torque figures were actually lower than the previous model due to the need to re-engineer its screaming 599cc4 to comply with the most recent 2017 Euro 4 noise and emissions regulations. Euro 5 would later force it to become a track-only model. However, these figures could be raised with the addition of an aftermarket pipe and power commander. Furthermore, at slightly under $14,700 when it was first introduced, it was expensive. However, there are benefits. This R6 model is rare, has amazing brakes, looks amazing, and handles brilliantly. However, the cost of purchasing it and improving its performance will be high. Number 6. Suzuki GSX R600, 2011 to 2018. The 2011 practically all-new L1 version marked Suzuki's comeback to form after the fairly staid and reasonable 2008 to 2010 GSX R600. It was also the Japanese company's last and most current iteration of its Supersport screamer before the model was discontinued, at least in Europe in 2018. As a result, you can get the best and newest GSX R600 available. It was also lighter and more powerful than its predecessor, and it had Brembo monoblock brakes and Showa big piston forks for the first time. Despite not having the same power and speed as its competitors at the time, the GSX R600 was nonetheless a very good, well-built all-arounder. Additionally, there were some limited edition models that were worth keeping an eye out for, such as the 2014 MotoGP Special Edition, the Taiko Limited Edition, and the 30th Anniversary Edition in 2015. Number 5. MV Agusta F3675. An MV Agusta amplifies the Italian exotic sensation, and the F3800 might go up a spot or two on this list if we let ourselves to include it. We're now staying with the 675cc version, which presents some challenges. Although updated maps can help address throttle response issues with early bikes, the cost of entry is still considerable, with an F3 still starting at over $9,350. The MV does have some really great features though, like the gorgeous 3-cylinder engine, the amazing looks, and, possibly most importantly, the technology. With its many engine modes and traction control, this bike is among the few in its class that truly deserves to be considered a product of this decade. Faster shifters and ABS are also included in more current models. Get the newest model you can afford. ABS brakes, for example, and other flaws have been fixed. However, if you're going to go that far, why not go all out and get the more powerful 800cc model? Number 4. Kawasaki ZX6R, 2019 to 2021. It scores lower since it isn't all that different from the previous model. After all, why spend more money on a newer model when the older one can be had for less money? In any case, it is admirable that it was updated at all during a period when the majority of competitors were abandoning the class, and the basic bike is unquestionably excellent. The style, a few minor details, and the overall gearing are the key modifications. With competitive performance, elegant styling, and excellent electronics and chassis parts, this used Supersport 600 has a lot going for it, making it one of the best all-around models available. Number 3. Honda CBR 600RR, 2007 to 2013. We'll keep things simple because the development of Honda's MotoGP-inspired CBR 600RR is nearly as intricate as Yamaha's R6. In 2003, the first-generation CBR 600RR was introduced as a little RCV GP motorcycle. These days, it's easy to get one for less than $4,000, which puts them in the same market segment that is often held by motorcycles from an older generation. The 2005-6 models, which don't cost much extra, came with useful improvements like radial calipers and USD forks. On the surface, the 2007 CBR 600RR's improvements over the previous model may not have been substantial, but they were yet sufficient to greatly improve the bike. Over the ensuing years, Honda continued to make minor adjustments. most notably adding optional combined ABS in 2009, the first feature on a sports bike. Since ABS is now standard on so many smaller, less powerful bikes, many riders upgrading to a 600 would undoubtedly enjoy the level of safety that these early ABS versions, which are currently priced under $6,700, offer. If you get a decent one, you'll have a dependable, elegant, speedy, and comfortable for a 600 bike. Number 2. Yamaha R6, 2008 to 2016. The 17,500 revolutions per minute redline and other features of the brand new 2006 Yamaha R6 made headlines, but its 2008 replacement raised the stakes even higher. It shed even more weight and added ride-by-wire, which made it possible to add more electronic rider aids in the future. Because of the upgrades, it was the class standard for nearly 10 years, and Supersport racers started using it not only for short-circuit racing, but also for the TT. It was the quickest and sportiest Supersport 600 available at the time, though many would contend that Honda's more comfortable and well-rounded CBR 600RR was the superior road bike. Sharp, light, powerful, and nimble. If the Yamaha is the bike for you, be cautious of battered and wrecked X-Race or track day models. Number 1. Kawasaki ZX6R 2013 to 2016. Although it was never the best, Kawasaki's Supersport 600 model, the ZX6R, was arguably the closest to it from 2013 to 2016. It has straightforward benefits. The 2013 on ZX6R was essentially new, with overhauled styling, a new chassis, and an updated engine that was, again, upsized to 636cc, while others basically carried over their bikes with minor adjustments. Its 37cc advantage over competitors is significant since it adds a little of torque and flexibility that the others did not. With Showa BPF forks, multi-mode traction control, numerous engine maps, and ABS, Kawasaki was a leader in technology as well. Years ahead of its most apparent competitors, it had all the equipment that most people had anticipated. Some people may argue that traction control and ABS are unnecessary for a 600, but they are mistaken. This equipment pays for itself the instant it prevents one accident, regardless of the cause: dumb luck, inattention, excessive enthusiasm, or something else entirely. 2013 models are becoming less expensive on the used market, with broken or repaired units going for less than $8,000. What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comment down below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for new upcoming videos of motorcycles. Thanks for watching.